Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives, the truth behind Sarah and Phillip's romance. Is Xander losing his family? Fans of Days of Our Lives have been buzzing with excitement and curiosity as they watch the tangled web of relationships unfold around Salem. One of the hottest topics lately revolves around Sarah Horton Kyriakis, Lindsay Godfrey, and Phillip Kyriakis, John Paul Lavoisier. Rumors are swirling that Sarah and Phillip might indeed be a couple. Fans wonder if Phillip is stepping into the role of father for little Victoria Kyriakis, portrayed adorably by Isla and Paisley Kerr, the daughter Sarah shares with Xander Kyriakis, Paul Telfer. But is Victoria really calling Phillip dad, or is this just another piece of Salem gossip? Firstly, let's clarify the situation. Yes, it's true. Sarah and Phillip have grown significantly closer recently, and their bond appears to be deepening beyond mere friendship. While initially brought together under distressing circumstances involving Phillip's hospitalization, their connection seems increasingly genuine. Phillip, who is still recovering from trauma partially instigated by Xander's drastic actions, has found comfort and support in Sarah's empathy and warmth. This emotional proximity has naturally led to something more profound. Xander, on the other hand, finds himself tangled in a web of consequences from past misdeeds. His decision to take revenge on Phillip has set a series of events into motion, ultimately resulting in his recent arrest by Jada Hunter, Aaliyah Cantu. Now facing the consequences not just legally, but emotionally and personally, Xander watches helplessly as Phillip appears poised to assume the very role Xander has always treasured, the role of father to Victoria. Indeed, the sight of Phillip bonding with Victoria, guiding her first steps, comforting her through tears, and sharing moments of pure joy, is likely enough to push Xander toward the brink. Sarah, protective of her daughter, sees Phillip as a stable presence amid the chaos, a stark contrast to Xander's often volatile nature. Victoria, young and impressionable, seems increasingly comfortable around Phillip, creating a vision of a happy family that many in Salem can't ignore. Could this really be Sarah's ultimate plan, to build a new life away from Xander, fully embracing Phillip as both partner and father figure? The evidence points toward a very real relationship between Sarah and Phillip, one that could be powerful enough to reshape family dynamics and ignite intense emotions in Salem. Despite Phillip's somewhat contentious history, he has demonstrated a new level of maturity and care during his recovery. Sarah's compassionate nature seems naturally drawn to Phillip's vulnerability, creating a bond built on genuine emotional connection rather than fleeting passion or revenge. The romantic spark growing between them, undeniable to observers and fans alike, appears both sincere and potent enough to withstand Salem's typical turmoil. Yet, while their romance blooms, viewers shouldn't overlook the complexity of Sarah's feelings for Xander. Despite current struggles, there's a lingering emotional attachment, a sense of unfinished business that continues to resonate beneath the surface. Xander, although deeply flawed, maintains a profound love for both Sarah and Victoria, suggesting the possibility of redemption and reconciliation down the road. Days fans know all too well that relationships in Salem rarely follow a straightforward path. For now, however, Sarah's proximity to Phillip serves as both a comfort to her and an agonizing reminder to Xander of what he's lost. The image of Victoria potentially calling Phillip dad could be the ultimate twist of the emotional knife, amplifying Xander's guilt, jealousy, and anguish. In fact, this could be precisely the scenario Sarah envisions, using Phillip's stability and affection as protecting her against Xander's unpredictability, all the while secretly hoping Xander finally grasps the true consequences of his past actions. Ultimately, while Sarah and Phillip's connection seems sincere and very much real at this moment, Days of Our Lives frequently surprises viewers with unexpected turns. Phillip and Sarah's romance might be an essential catalyst, pushing Xander toward meaningful self-reflection, redemption, and eventual reconciliation with Sarah and Victoria. Salem residents have learned to expect dramatic twists, heartfelt reunions, and emotional confrontations. As it stands, the truth is evident: Sarah and Phillip are indeed forming a genuine, if perhaps temporary, couple. Victoria, too young to fully grasp the nuances of adult relationships, is at least emotionally accepting Phillip as a nurturing figure in her life. But whether this bond remains permanent or merely serves as a catalyst to bring Sarah and Xander back together remains to be seen. Days of Our Lives spoilers indicate that Xander's journey is far from over, and viewers should brace themselves for even more emotional upheaval. For now, fans should accept the truth: Sarah and Phillip's romantic involvement is very much a reality, intensifying the emotional stakes for everyone involved in this ever-unfolding drama. Xander's fury, a father's heartbreak in Days of Our Lives. In the tumultuous world of Days of Our Lives, few storylines have gripped fans as fiercely as the unraveling saga of Xander Kyriakis, Paul Telfer, his ex-wife Sarah Horton Kyriakis, Lindsay Godfrey, and his sworn enemy, Phillip Kyriakis, Jean-Paul Lavoisier. The confirmed romance between Sarah and Phillip has already sent shockwaves through Salem, but the stakes are about to climb even higher. Imagine the gut-wrenching moment when Xander hears his beloved daughter, Victoria Kyriakis, is 7 Law and Paisley Kerr, call Phillip dad. For a man as passionate and volatile as Xander, this betrayal could ignite a firestorm of emotions, pushing him to confront both Sarah and Phillip in ways that could forever alter their lives. Let's explore how Xander might react to this heartbreaking development and what it means for his future in Salem. A father's nightmare. Xander Kyriakis has never been a stranger to pain. His life has been a roller coaster of love, loss, and redemption, with his daughter Victoria serving as the one constant light in his stormy world. Despite his flaws, his vengeful actions against Phillip, his recent arrest by Jada Hunter, Aaliyah Cantu, and the looming threat of a custody battle, Xander's love for Victoria is unwavering. She is his heart, his reason for fighting to be a better man. So, when word reaches him that Victoria, still a toddler with an innocent heart, has begun calling Phillip dad, the blow lands like a sledgehammer. Picture the scene: Xander, perhaps standing outside Sarah's home, overhears Victoria's sweet voice uttering the word dad as she reaches for Phillip. The sound, so pure yet so devastating, would stop Xander in his tracks. His face would contort with a mix of disbelief, rage, and heartbreak. For Xander, this isn't just a word, it's a theft of his identity, his bond with his daughter, and his place in her life. The man who caused Phillip's hospitalization, who has paid dearly for his mistakes, now faces a consequence far worse than any courtroom could deliver: the fear that he's losing his daughter to his greatest enemy. Confronting Sarah, a clash of love and betrayal. Xander's first instinct would likely be to confront Sarah, the woman he still loves despite their fractured marriage. Sarah, who has been drawn to Phillip through shared pain and empathy, has already taken steps to protect Victoria by limiting Xander's access. The custody battle hanging over them only deepens the wound, and this new development, Victoria calling Phillip dad, would push Xander to his breaking point. He might storm into Sarah's home, his voice trembling with a mix of anger and desperation, demanding answers. "How could you let this happen, Sarah?" he might shout, his eyes blazing. "She's my daughter. How could you let him take my place?" Sarah, torn between her growing feelings for Phillip and her lingering connection to Xander, would likely stand her ground. She might argue that Phillip has been a stable presence, a contrast to Xander's chaos, and that Victoria's innocent affection for Phillip is just that, innocent. But to Xander, these words would sound like excuses, a betrayal of their shared history and the family they once dreamed of building. This confrontation would be a masterclass in Days of Our Lives drama, with Sarah's calm resolve clashing against Xander's fiery passion. He might accuse her of deliberately turning Victoria against him, even if deep down he knows it's not entirely true. The pain of hearing his daughter call another man dad would cloud his judgment, making him lash out in ways that could further damage his chances in the custody battle. Yet, beneath the anger, there would be a heartbreaking plea, a father begging not to be erased from his daughter's life. Facing Phillip, a rivalry reignited. Xander's confrontation with Sarah is emotional, his encounter with Phillip would be nothing short of explosive. The Kyriakis brothers have a long history of rivalry, but Phillip's growing role in Sarah and Victoria's lives would push their feud to new heights. Xander would likely seek Phillip out, perhaps at the Kyriakis mansion or a public place in Salem, ready to unleash his fury. The image of Phillip playing with Victoria, perhaps smiling as she calls him dad, would be seared into Xander's mind, fueling a confrontation that's both personal and primal. "Stay away from my daughter," Xander might growl, his fists clenched as he faces Phillip. "You think you can just waltz in and take my family? You're nothing to her." Phillip, who has found solace in his bond with Sarah after surviving Xander's attack, might try to defuse the situation, insisting he's not trying to replace Xander. But Phillip's calm demeanor would only enrage Xander further, who sees it as smugness or manipulation. The tension could escalate into a physical altercation, a hallmark of Days of Our Lives' intense family dramas, with bystanders like Brady Black or Maggie Horton stepping in to prevent disaster. This clash wouldn't just be about Victoria, it would be a reckoning of years of bad blood between the brothers. Xander might accuse Phillip of exploiting Sarah's sympathy, using his recovery to worm his way into her life. Phillip, in turn, might throw Xander's mistakes back in his face, reminding him that his own actions drove Sarah away. The confrontation would leave both men bruised, not just physically but emotionally, as they grapple with their roles in this tangled mess. A father's desperate fight. Beyond the immediate confrontations, Xander's reaction would likely drive him to take drastic measures to reclaim his place in Victoria's life. The custody battle would become his sole focus, with Xander pouring his energy into proving he's a fit father. He might enlist the help of a sharp lawyer, perhaps Justin Kyriakis, to fight Sarah's case in court. Every moment he spends preparing would be fueled by the haunting image of Victoria calling Phillip dad, a memory that both breaks his heart and steals his resolve. Xander might also try to reconnect with Victoria directly, seeking out moments to remind her of their bond. Picture him sneaking a visit to her daycare, his tough exterior softening as he reads her a story or gives her a favorite toy. These stolen moments would be bittersweet, as Xander grapples with the fear that he's losing her to Phillip's influence. His desperation could lead to reckless decisions, perhaps even bending the law again, which would only complicate his fight for custody. Salem's ripple effects. Xander's reaction wouldn't just affect Sarah and Phillip, it would ripple through Salem, dividing friends and family. Maggie, Sarah's mother, might try to mediate, torn between her love for her daughter and her sympathy for Xander's pain. The Kyriakis family would be split, with some siding with Phillip's redemption arc and others rallying behind Xander's fight for his daughter. The town's residents, from longtime friends like Nicole Walker to newer faces like Jada, would weigh in, turning this personal drama into a community spectacle. A path to redemption? For fans, especially those over 65 who have followed Days of Our Lives for decades, Xander's reaction taps into the timeless soap opera themes of family, loyalty, and redemption. While his initial response would be anger and confrontation, there's hope that Xander could channel his pain into growth. Perhaps this heartbreak will force him to confront his mistakes, to fight not just for Victoria but for a better version of himself. The road to reconciliation with Sarah and Victoria is long, but in Salem, where love always finds a way, it's never impossible. For now, Xander's fury at hearing Victoria call Phillip dad will drive him to confront both Sarah and Phillip, setting the stage for explosive drama. As Days of Our Lives continues to unfold, one thing is clear: Xander's fight for his daughter will be a battle of the heart, one that will keep fans on the edge of their seats.